All right, you can begin whenever you're ready.
I felt that my senses were leaving me. I saw the lips of the black-robed judges, the sentence, the dreaded sentence of death. I saw them fashion the syllables of my name, and I shuddered. Blackness of darkness supervened, all sensation feared, swallowed up in a mad rushing descent as of the souls into Hades. In silence, and stillness, and night for the universe. During the Spanish Inquisition, those who were not Christian were tortured and severely punished for their beliefs. Our narrator has been imprisoned and is now sentenced to death. The Pit and the Pendulum by Edgar Allan Poe. Arousing from the most profound of slumbers, I had found that I had not yet opened my eyes. I dreaded the first glance at objects around me, but soon, with a wild desperation at heart, I quickly unclosed my eyes. My worst thoughts then were confirmed. I had been entombed. As my eyes adjusted, I began a tour of my vault. Figures of fiends and aspects of menace, skeleton forms and other fearful images overspread and disfigured the walls. Colors seemed faded and blurred. I then noticed the floor was of stone. In the center, a circular pit. It was at this point that I realized that I lay upon a low framework of wood, which I was bound with a surcingle that wrapped convolutedly about my limbs and body, leaving at liberty only my head, my left arm. I could, by dint of much exertion, supply myself with food from an earthen dish which lay by my side on the floor. Above me, a painted figure of time, in lieu of a scythe, held a huge pendulum. While I gazed directly upward at it, I saw it in motion. I watched it for some minutes, somewhat in fear, but more in wonder. A slight noise attracted my notice. I saw several enormous rats that had issued from the well. They came up in troops hurriedly, allured by the scent of the meat. It required much effort to scare them away. It might have been an hour before I again cast my eyes upward. The sweep of the pendulum had increased in extent by nearly a yard. Its velocity was also much greater. But what disturbed me was the idea that it had perceptibly descended. The whole hissed as it swung through the air. I counted the rushing oscillations of the steel, inch by inch, line by line, down and down it came. I prayed. I grew frantically mad. I struggled to force myself upward against the sweep of the fearful scimitar. I saw that it was designed to cross the region of my heart. Down, to the right, to the left, far and wide, I alternately laughed and howled. Down, still unceasingly, still inevitably down, I gasped and struggled at each vibration, shrunk convulsively at every sweep. My eyes closed themselves spasmodically at the descent, the eagerness of the most unmeaning despair. Oh, how unspeakable! It was hope that prompted the nerve to quiver, the frame to shrink. It was hope. I saw that soon steel would gash my robe, and the keen, collected calmness of despair suddenly overcame my spirit. I saw that the glittering crescent would cut any portion of the surcingle, that it might be unwound from my person by means of my left hand. The surcingle enveloped my body close in all directions. Save in the path of the destroying crescent! And then I lay suddenly calm, and lay smiling at the glittering death. I felt very sick and weak, as if through long food. With painful effort, I had stretched my left arm and took hold of the remnant that had been spared me by the rats. As I put a portion of it within my lips, there rushed my mind the half-formed thought of joy. Hope. I proceeded at once with the nervous energy of despair to attempt its execution. The rats were wild, bold, ravenous, their red eyes glaring upon me, as if they waited but for motionless on my part to make me their prey. But with the oily and spicy viand which now remained in the platter, I thoroughly rubbed the bandage wherever I could reach it, lifting my hand from the floor. I lay breathlessly still. I had not counted in vain upon the animal's ferocity. They came up in fresh troops hurriedly. They writhed upon my throat. Their cold lips sought my own. I was half stifled by their thronging pressure. Disgust, for which the world has no name, swelled my bosom and chilled with heavy clamminess my heart. But plainly I perceived the loosening of the bandage, and knew that in more than one place it must already be severed. So, with a more than human resolution, I lay still. I at length felt that I was free, but the sweep of the pendulum already pressed against my bosom. Twice again it swung, and a sharp sense of pain shot through every nerve. But the moment of escape had arrived. With a wave of my hand, my deliverers hurried tumultuously away. And with a cautious movement, sidelong and slow, I slid from the embrace of the bandage and beyond the reach of the scimitar. I was free. But I had scarcely stepped from my wooden bed of horrors when I beheld the machine drawn up by some invisible force through the ceiling. Even while I breathed, there came to my nostrils the breath of the vapor of heated iron. A richer tint of crimson diffused itself over the pictured horrors of blood. I shrank back to the center of the cell. The room had been square. Two of its angles were now acute. But the alteration stopped not there. I neither hoped nor desired them to stop. I could have clasped the red walls to my bosom as a garment of eternal peace. Death, I said, any death but that of the pit. Fool! Might I have not known the end to the pit was the object of the burning iron to urge me? I shrank back, but the walls pressed me resistlessly onward. At length, my seared and writhing body, there was no longer an inch of foothold. At length, the agony of my soul found vent in one loud, long, and final scream.